Hello everyone. In this session, I'll be discussing about various types of power electronic circuits. Before watching this video, I recommend to listen my previous videos. That is on the syllabus description as well as the basic introduction to power electronics and its applications. I'll be sharing video link in the description box. Let me continue the discussion. As you can observe, these are the different types of power electronic circuits. So we have the diode rectifier. It is also known as uncontrolled rectifiers. We'll be using power diode. Power diodes are mainly using for this type of rectifiers. Okay. The second type of power electronic circuits are DC to DC converter. It is also known as DC-DC choppers. You can able to step up and step down the DC supply. It is also known as the fixed supply to variable supply converters. The third one is known as DC-AC inverter, or you can call DC-AC converters. Both are same. Moving on to next type of converter, that is AC to DC converters. It is also known as controlled rectifier. Here, in spite of using power diode, we'll be using any type of controlled devices such as thyristors. Moving on to fifth one, AC to AC converters. It is also known as AC voltage controllers, or you can call AC voltage regulators. AC voltage regulators. You can note down this. AC voltage regulators. Finally, static switches. So these are the different types of power electronic circuits. First of all, let us discuss individually. First and foremost thing, I will be moving on to diode rectifier. How does diode rectifier operate? How do you classify diode rectifier? Some basic information will be discussed. As you can observe, this is a circuit diagram of diode rectifier. Before explaining the circuit diagram, I would like to discuss the classification. So diode rectifier can be broadly classified into two. First one is known as half wave rectifier. Half wave rectifier. The second type is known as full wave rectifier. Full wave rectifiers. Again, full wave rectifiers are having two topologies. The first topology is center tapped rectifier. Center tapped. Center tapped. Second configuration is known as bridge rectifier. Okay. These are the two types of topologies for full wave rectifier. At present, I will be concentrating only on the center tapped rectifiers. Why? Because there is a separate chapter or separate segment regarding power diode rectifier. At that time, I will be discussing the entire classification and working. Time being, let us familiar how does the center tapped rectifier operate. What is a basic rectifier circuit that I am going to discuss. Let us pay the attention. As you can observe, the circuit diagram of diode rectifier. This is basically a center tapped rectifier circuit. Here we are having three winding transformer. There is winding number 1, this is winding number 2, and this is winding number 3. So we need a center tapped transformer. That's the main segment of this type of rectifier. Now let us understand how does it operate. So it operates during positive and negative half cycle. The ultimate goal of diode rectifier is to convert the AC supply into DC supply. We have AC supply. You can see this is your AC supply. AC supply has to be converted into DC supply. So that is the ultimate goal of this diode rectifier. Now let us familiar how does it operate during positive half cycle. So first and foremost thing you need to mark the positive. Positive should be here. Negative should be here. Moreover, positive is here and negative is here. Now let us understand. In the upper side, you can observe. How about the direction of current? you have to mark the direction of current. Current should be always moving from positive to negative. So I can mark positive to negative. Tell me whether diode D1 will operate. Yes, obviously diode D1 will conduct. Why? Because whenever current is flowing from positive to negative, this diode D1 that is becoming forward biased. This is forward. This is obviously a forward biased condition. Okay, forward biased. I can write it as a forward biased. It should be forward biased. Therefore, diode D1 will be operated. But if I talk about this diode D2, that become reverse biased. I can write a reverse biased. Okay. So at that time, let us mark the direction of current. So current will be always passing from positive to negative. So conduction will be only during the upper side. The lower side, it will act as an open circuit condition. Here, it won't conduct. It will act as an open circuit condition. So the thing is, during positive half cycle, this is your positive half cycle of your input supply. So diode D1 will operate. So diode D1 will be conducting so that you will be getting the voltage across the load. Whatever the input voltage you have applied, that will be available at the output side. That is across the particular load. This is a resistive load. It may be lighting load. We can call lighting load. So whatever the during positive half cycle, whatever the input voltage you have applied, that will come across the load. So what first half cycle is completed. That means positive half cycle that has been completed. Now I would like to discuss about negative half cycle. During negative half cycle, what is going to happen? Let us have a brief discussion. So first and foremost thing, you have to mark the polarity. So negative half cycle in the sense, first and foremost thing I'll be marking, you have to concentrate this particular segment. So this is your negative half cycle. So negative half cycle in the sense, here you have to mark minus, plus. Here minus, plus. It will be very much clear. Now you need to tell me whether diode D1 will operate or not. So current will always travel from positive to negative. You can observe positive to negative. So at that time, will diode operate? No. Diode D1 operate? No. Why? Because if the current passes from positive to negative, this is becoming reverse biased. I'll be writing RB. RB. RB stands for reverse biased. But in the bottom side, in the below side, you can observe the current conduction will be from positive to negative. See, current will be conducting from positive to negative. At that time, the diode D2, what about diode D2? Obviously, it will conduct. This is known as forward biased condition. Forward biased condition. So what happened, during negative half cycle, the output voltage, that is actually here. This is your output voltage. Whatever the input voltage you have applied, that will come across the particular load. That means here D2 is going to operate. D2 conducts. I can write D2 conducts. Okay. So this is what exactly happening in case of diode rectifier. So during positive half cycle, this is your positive half cycle. I should say that diode D1 operated. Diode D1 will operate. During negative half cycle, diode D2 will be operated. Now you can, if you want, you can calculate the average output voltage. There is a formula for computation of average output voltage. I will derive the expression whenever I'm explaining about the diode rectifier. So time being, you can note down the formula to calculate the average output voltage of diode rectifier. The formula is given by V naught is equal to 2 Vm by pi, where Vm is known as peak value of input voltage. I have written over that V naught means average output voltage across the load in terms of volt. Okay. Vm is the peak value of input voltage that is also expressed in terms of volt. So this point you can note down. Now let us discuss about the various applications of diode rectifier. Why diode rectifiers are employed. So main applications are given below. Battery charger circuits, then home inverters. These are the major applications of diode rectifiers. Here we are going to use power diode. So some power diode like MUR1560. MUR1560. This kind of diodes can be used. So that will be most convenient. MUR1560. You can download the data sheet and you can check it out. Okay. So this is regarding diode rectifier. Now I would like to discuss about another type of power electronic circuit that is called a DC to DC converter, or it is also known as DC-DC chopper. So there are two types of DC-DC converters. Basically, I can say that isolated DC-DC converter, isolated, isolated, isolated DC-DC converter. I'll be writing converter like this. Similarly, another type is non-isolated DC-DC converter. Non-isolated. Okay, non-isolated DC-DC converter. There are two types of converters, isolated and non-isolated DC-DC converter. The difference is, in isolated DC-DC converter, we are going to use an isolation transformer, 1:1 transformer, where in case of non-isolated transformer, we are not using any isolated transformer. That's the difference. So let us speak in general regarding converter. Okay. So basically in this session, we are going to familiar only the converter. The main purpose of DC-DC converter is to convert fixed DC voltage into variable DC voltage. So we have the fixed DC in our input. So fixed DC in your input side. So that I have to convert variable DC. Variable DC. So that's the specialty. Fixed DC input that will be converted into variable DC with the help of DC to DC converter. The main heart or the main component of DC-DC converter is your power switch. It may be either power MOSFET or power IGBT or power BJT. Depends on the requirement or depends on the application, you can choose the switches. So this is your heart of the component, that is power MOSFET or power IGBT. Generally you can call power switches, power switch. Power switch. Okay. Let us study how does it operate. We have fixed DC input voltage. I need to convert into variable DC output voltage. That's a specialty. Okay. So here you can pay the attention. So the total output voltage, you can see this is output voltage. We'll be using the load. Total output voltage that can be written as T1 into input voltage divided by total T, where T1 is known as on state. T1 is generally called on state of the switch. So it is having two state mainly. One is on state, other will be off state. How we are going to control the switch? We will be providing the suitable gate impulse. So we are going to provide the suitable gate impulse at that particular gate terminal. That's a control terminal. So T1 is the on condition, where T2 is known as off condition. Okay, T2 means off condition. Similarly, T means total time period. Total time period. Okay, you can note down like this. So we can write duty cycle is given by duty cycle. Duty cycle is given by, I'll be writing duty cycle D. Duty cycle also can be called as duty ratio. Duty cycle. Duty cycle, or one can say duty ratio. Both are same. Someone will call duty ratio. Both are synonyms. Okay. So duty cycle can be written as T on, turn on divided by T on divided by total time. So T on, what I represented. So T on means T1. T1 divided by, okay, here on period means T1. Then total time period means T. Or else you can write T1 divided by T1 plus T2. T1 plus T2, where T1 plus T2 is nothing but T on. T1 plus T2 is nothing but total time period. T1 stand for on period, T2 stand for off period. So T1 plus T2 means total time period. So T1 divided by T, capital T. Capital T stand for T1 plus T2. That means total time period. Okay. Now let us come to the point. How does it operate? These concepts you have to note down. That will be really helpful for you. So total output voltage can be written as V0 is given by T1 into Vs divided by T, where T1 is known as on period. This is your on period. So the pulses are having two states. One will be on period, other will be off period. See, so this is your on period, correct? This is your off period of the switch, off condition, on condition and off condition. It's a PWM. Basically a PWM, pulse width modulation, PWM signal. This is a PWM signal. It is having on state as well as off state. So let us write the output voltage is given by on period T1 into input voltage divided by total time period. If you remodify the equation, let me write Vs first. Input voltage I'll be writing first. Same thing I have written here. Just for your information, I'll be rewriting. So Vs into, so T1 I'll be writing later. T1 divided by total time. So what you call T1 divided by total T? According to you, T1 divided by total T is known as duty cycle. You can replace T1 by T with duty cycle T. So total output voltage. Total output voltage is given by Vs times duty cycle. This you can put in a special consideration. This is your one of the most important equation. V naught is given by Vs into D. Okay. So this is the concept. That means if you want, you can write duty cycle. So duty cycle is given by V naught divided by Vs. V naught divided by Vs. Clear? So if you control the value of duty cycle, I can able to control the output voltage. By controlling the duty cycle, I can easily control the output voltage. So there are different topology. Like if you want to step up the voltage, you can go for boost converter. If you want to step down the voltage, you can go for buck converter. If you want intermediate operation, like if you maintain duty cycle is above 50%, it will work as a boost converter. And if you maintain duty cycle less than 50%, that will act as a buck converter. Such combination is known as buck boost converter. That I will let you know on 5th chapter. Right now, let me concentrate the working. This is the working actually, the output voltage that can be written as input voltage into duty cycle. By adjusting the duty cycle, I can able to control the output voltage. So that's a specialty. Okay, so this is your output. Okay, so Vs is representing as an input. You can observe. So this is your input. This is your input. So if you control the duty cycle, then I can vary the output voltage. See, this is your output. Output is equal to delta into Vs, where delta is delta, or you can call D. Both are fine. So that is called duty cycle. So this is known as DC-DC converter, or you can call DC-DC chopper. Now let us find out the applications of DC-DC converter or DC-DC chopper. You can call anything you can call. So we have the list of applications. Switched mode power supply in your computers. Then you can use the solar optimizers as in case of solar photovoltaic system, SPV system. You can use it as a power conditioning device. Okay. So if you output of a solar panel will be very less. If you want to increase the output voltage of solar panel, so you can use the DC-DC converter. So what it does, especially boost converter, if you are using a boost converter, without changing power, it will be changing the voltage and current. It will increase the voltage and reduce the current. That's a specialty. Similarly, battery charging circuits, that's another specialty. Battery charging circuits. Similarly, wind energy conversion systems also, we can use DC-DC converter. So these are the various applications of DC-DC converter. Now I would like to discuss about the third one, DC-AC inverter, or you can call DC-AC converter. Both are fine. The main applications are uninterruptible power supply, then solar photovoltaic systems. Why? Because DC-DC, with the help of DC-DC converter, I can convert DC supply into AC supply. Actually, the requirement of the load is AC, but we have only DC power supply, especially solar photovoltaic system. So with the help of this inverter, I can able to convert a DC supply into AC supply. Similarly, power utility companies also will have major role in case of usage of DC-AC inverters. Now let us study how it is going to convert the DC supply into AC supply with the help of inverter. As you can see, this is an H bridge structure. In English alphabets, it's a H bridge inverter, H bridge structure. You can note down this H bridge structure. So it has H bridge structure. You can compare with the English alphabets. Okay. So there are two type of inverter, single phase inverter, or you can go for three-phase inverter. Similarly, depends on the PWM signal also, you can divide different type of inverters like sinusoidal inverter, square pulse inverter. Likewise, there are different configurations that I'll be discussing during 5th module. Let us see how does it operate. So during the first cycle, okay, during the first cycle, let me call the first cycle as positive, negative. Okay, positive DC supply. We have the DC supply. So during the first cycle, let us mark the conduction. Here, it will conduct like this. Okay, this M1 will conduct. M1 is one of the MOSFET switch. power electronic switch. Then it comes to the load, it will conduct. Okay. Then M2 is getting operated and it comes to the negative end of supply. So this is the direction of current. So during a positive cycle, or you can call the first cycle, what it does. So whatever the input voltage you have applied, that will come across the load. That is equal to here, what is going to happen? M1 and M2 will be operated. M1 and M2 will be operated. See, these are the two switches, and M3 and M4 will remain open circuit condition. It remains off state. So you can note down during positive cycle. Okay, during the first cycle, or you can call first cycle, M1 and M2 will be operated. That means you have to provide suitable gating pulse at M1 and M2. Clear? So similarly, during second cycle or during negative half cycle, we can call second cycle, better don't call negative half cycle because we have the DC only. So during the second cycle, so let me mark the polarity like this, negative, positive. Okay. Anyway, current will always pass from positive to negative. Now let us see how about the conduction of current. So positive, so M4 will conduct, it come across the load. Okay, slowly it comes back to M3 and it will be coming back to negative end of the supplies. This is the direction of current. Now let me conclude during second cycle. That means during the second cycle, see, during the second cycle, what is going to happen? The negative voltage that come across the load, the negative voltage. Here, the negative voltage will come across the load. See the polarity, positive, negative voltage. So here, what and all the switches will be conducting? Let us mark M4 and M3 will be conducting. M4 and M3. M4 and M3 will be conducting. Okay, so you have to provide the suitable amount of gating pulse. Okay, so this is known as the simple inverter, single phase inverter. So this is the way how you are going to convert DC supply to AC supply. So you can satisfy the load requirement. So this is also called as DC AC converter, or short form we can call a DC AC inverter, or say somebody will call inverter, simple inverter. Okay. Now I would like to discuss about AC to DC converters. That means we already studied about rectifier, uncontrolled rectifier. This is actually controlled rectifier. Here the specialty is, in spite of using a power diode, we are going to use the thyristors. You are going to use thyristor. As you know that thyristor is a control device. It is having three terminals like anode, cathode and gate terminal. So during positive half cycle, the thyristor T1 gets operated. Thyristor T1 gets operated. But one condition, the thyristor will turn on. Okay, the thyristor will turn on when omega t is equal to alpha. When omega t is equal to alpha, where alpha is also known as firing angle. Firing angle. Alpha is known as firing angle. The thyristor will get turned on here when omega t is equal to alpha. So this is your on period. See, they have hatched actually. This is your on. So thyristor will get turned on when omega t is equal to alpha. Till that period, it will not be conducting. You won't get any output till that period. So by adjusting the firing angle, you can able to adjust the conduction. You can able to adjust the load wave shape. That's a speciality of this control rectifier. Similarly, during the negative half cycle, how can I explain during negative half cycle? So during negative half cycle, what I can say is, so the thyristor T2 will be operated. Thyristor T2 will be operated, but it will conduct only when omega t is equal to, till here we have pi, okay, pi plus alpha. Pi plus alpha. You can note down this. The thyristor T2 conducts only when omega t is equal to pi plus alpha. At that time, it will operate. So these are the area where it is going to conduct. So this type of converter is known as AC-DC converter, or it is also known as controlled rectifier. Why it is called controlled rectifier? By adjusting the firing angle, you can able to control the conduction time or conduction period. So that is why it is known as controlled rectifier. If you want, you can calculate the average output to voltage by using the formula. So we have the formula, average output to voltage V0 is given by Vm into 1 plus cos alpha divided by pi. Here alpha is known as firing angle. Okay, that point you can note down. This is most important type converter. What are the applications of AC-DC converter or controlled rectifier? Let us figure out the applications. It is mainly used in DC motor drives. Similarly, electric traction, Then high voltage DC transmission system, high voltage DC transmission. At the sending end side, we are going to use uh, rectifier. Okay, at the receiving end side, we will be using inverter. At the sending end side, you will be maintaining the firing angle in the range of 0, in between 0 and 90 degree. 0 and 90 degree at the sending end side. So during receiving end side, you will be maintaining the firing angle between 90 degree to 180 degree. 90 degree to 180 degree. So this is basically for rectification operation, and this will be for inversion operation, inverter. Okay. And uninterruptible power supply, UPS, uninterruptible power supply. UPS system also you can use control rectifier. These are the various applications of control rectifier. You can note down these points. Next, I would like to discuss about AC to AC converter. It is also known as AC voltage controllers, or simple manner you can call AC voltage regulators. Okay, here we are going to control the fixed AC voltage, fixed AC voltage, fixed AC supply. Let me write fixed AC supply. You can note down this. Fixed AC supply will be converted into variable AC supply. Variable AC. Okay. To satisfy the load requirement, fixed AC will be converted into variable AC with the help of AC voltage controller. The main component of AC voltage controller is triac. The full form of triac is triode for alternating current. Triode for alternating current. It is a anti-parallel connection of SCRs. You can observe anti-parallel connections of SCR. So by using the triac, you can able to control, by changing the firing angle, you can adjust the current flow. Okay, so that the load will be controlled. You can satisfy the load requirement. So one of the example I can say, it can be used for controlling the fan in your home. So you'll be checking different modes. Whenever you are changing the mode, that means you are changing the firing angle. You are changing the firing angle. Whenever firing angle changes, the speed of the motor also getting changed. That's why the fan speed will be regulated. So by changing the firing angle, the speed can be controlled. Okay. So this is also known as AC voltage controllers. Here, the triac will adjust. Triac is the main component that will convert fixed AC supply into variable AC supply. Okay. Likewise, you can see this is your fixed AC supply. Whatever you are getting is variable AC supply. Here, this is a firing angle alpha. You can see firing angle. So by changing the firing angle, you can able to control the output to voltage. That's a specialty here. It's a AC to AC converter. You can call AC to AC converter. Let us figure out what are the different applications. Let us have a brief list on different type of application of AC to AC converters. Speed control of fans. Then light dimming application, especially dimming street lights. That's another specialty. Then temperature control can be done with the help of this AC to AC converters. Similarly, one of the example of temperature control that you can use as an induction heating application. Similarly, transformer tap changing circuit. You can use AC to AC converter in the transformer tap changes. These are the various applications. Now I would like to discuss about the last type of circuit, that is static switches. So static switches are also known as AC switch, AC static switch, AC static switch, or you can call DC switch. Why it is calling in this manner? The answer is, it is possible to operate for AC and DC supply. It is possible to control AC supply as well as DC supply. That is why it is known as AC static switches and DC static switches. Or simple word you can call DC switch. Let us consider one system. So power devices can operate as static switches or contactors. Here we have the two supplies. One is main supply, other will be auxiliary supply. So normal condition, the main supply will be applicable, and with the help of this static bypass switch, it will conduct and load will be operated. You can satisfy the load requirement. On the opposite end, whenever the power failure occur, main one will not be available. Then the main two will be operated. That means there is a AC to DC converter is available. AC to DC converter, we can call rectifier. In between the DC link, you can see the DC link, you can satisfy the battery. So in the output side, we require AC only. So with the help of isolation transformer, you are going to maintain the input and output, isolation between input and output. So AC supply will be passed to the static bypass switch, and you can satisfy the load requirement. So simple UPS also operating in this manner in your home. So you can use the static switches. Static switches also one type of power electronic converter. In this session, I have discussed about the various type of converters, such as AC to DC converter, or you can call rectifier, or simple manner you can call uncontrolled rectifier. The second thing is DC to DC converter, or simple word you can call DC to DC chopper. The third one is inverter, that means DC AC converter. The fourth one is AC to AC converter, or it is also known as AC voltage regulator. Similarly, I have discussed about controlled rectifier, AC to DC converter only, but it's a controlled rectifier. There you are going to use SCR, or you can call thyristor family, in a type of thyristor family, such a way that device can be easily controlled by adjusting the firing angle. And finally, I have discussed about static switches. So these are the few types of power electronic circuits. Okay, in the upcoming sessions, I'll be concentrating the individual type of power electronic converters. How does it operate individually? This is a brief discussion about different type of power electronic circuits just for your information. Thank you very much for watching this video.